And that's going to take shape throughout these matches still. There's still a little bit of fine-tuning to take place.
So both these teams hoping for a little fine-tuning in the non-conference. NC State served really tough last weekend. And a tough serve starts us off here. Rams in the road yellow. First swing for Amanda Rice. And if you're head coach Tim Doyle, we just saw Amanda Rice has got to be at the top of your scouting report when you face NC State.
There's no doubt about that, Andrew. She better be circled, underlined, highlighted because of what not only she did last year, but what she's already done this fall. And you look at what she brings to the table offensively. So many shots and so tough to defend.
Her team-leading 70th kill there to start it off. And, well, if you're going to serve tough, you're going to run some risk as well. And the service error sends it over to the side of VCU. Sophomore libero, Anya Kuyunzic. On the floor always for Coach Doyle. Again, bringing back talent and experience. Although she's just a sophomore, was tremendous in her freshman season.
Well, and when you look at the Rams, if you're following the scouting report, one of the goals they have coming into this weekend is our defense needs to step up. You know, right now they're last in the conference in opponent hitting percentage, and they're 9th out of 10 in blocks per set. So I'm sure those are aspects of the game that Coach Doyle really wants to see improve.
Two-one start for NC State. Deep serve, handled by the Rams. First swing for Julia Rinks. Wow. That finds the back line.
And if you're following the script for NC State, I don't think Coach Slave would, has any issue with what's happening right now. You've got 3 different kills from 3 different players in 3 different positions. So total balance right now offensively for the Wolfpack.
And an ace off the top of the tape for Sydney Daniels.
Just how you drew it up, Andrew. That's
a balanced offense and tough serving. Get him out to a hot start, 4-1. And coming off that trip to South Florida, he said that's the most fun that they have had playing volleyball so far this season.
The back row attack.
Aguano is back row there, the setter.
Yep. If any part of the ball breaks the plane and that back row setter contacts it the same time the blocker does, that is an illegal back row attack. And if you're the Rams, you have to be thinking, how can we get Knight involved in the offense? And it's got to start with a good pass like that.
Rinks puts it down. Hey, you brought that up, right? It's all tied to serve and pass. The defense that you mentioned earlier, it's easier to block when you serve it tough, right? And it's easier to get your middles involved, your whole offense.
No question.
To hit better when you pass well.
No question. And it doesn't matter the level of volleyball. If you win the serve and pass game, you're going to have the advantage. Wow, what an up.
In the back row, that was Katie Paez keeping the point alive for the Rams. Rice missed it down the line.
Well, and she had quite an alley there, Andrew. I think if she gets that same look again, and if you've got Decora that's going to give that much line to Rice, I think she's going to start to find it pretty quickly.
We're talking about this 1-5 start for the Rams. Coach Doyle saying, the good news is he feels like they're close and that the areas that they're close in are all controllables, but didn't make any bones about it. So we have to be much more consistent in serve and pass. That is the #1 area right now. And also, they're looking for some consistency from the setting position. So going with the veteran, Taylor Aguano, number 6. Able to make something out of that. She got a little tangled up with Knight there. It's Courtney Bryant, tournament MVP down in South Florida. Tip sent back by Decora.
Great coverage by NC State.
Long rally here in the early going. And Decora finishes it off.
Great shot from the freshman, Decora. In a long rally, you really want to see, can an outside hitter put the ball away? If if you get 5, 6 swing opportunities, who's going to end the point? And it's an aggressive high hand swing right there in the seam from Decora that really changed the momentum right now. See if the Rams could keep it going for a few more points.
And after, you see dropping to a knee, celebrating the passion. And that's one of the things they love about Decora, the talented freshman from Italy.
Those are those aspects, Andrew, that I think coaches and players are really gravitating toward at this point in the season. You've got to celebrate the little victories, especially if you're 1-5, you're trying to get some momentum before conference play. If we have a big stuff block, if we have a momentous kill, we've got to celebrate that.
Yeah. Decora able to cushion that, keep it up, but a misfire comes from breaks. It's just like we tell each other right before the broadcast, right? Have fun.
Exactly. Exactly. You got to enjoy these moments, and we get to play this game. We get to call this game. We get to coach this game. This is a privilege, and it's just so fun when things are flowing and you're in the zone. Great serve there and better pass.
Cabello goes over in 2, defended by VCU. Swing there from Alicia Yarashek.
Wow.
Yarashek with the stuff.
Talk about a wall immediately in your vision. When you think about Yarashek just making an outstanding blocking move. It starts with good feet, but look at the reach, the extension, turning that outside hand into the court, taking away that line shot. Boy, Allen just had no shot right there. I really like how the Rams are coming out here, Andrew. Hostile environment on the road, and you want to see that consistency. New quarterback. They're playing tough on defense. I think I jinxed it right there.
Well, that's what NC State would like, which is to be able to get the middles involved.
And so far, they're getting opportunities. Even during those long rallies, you're seeing a few free balls come their way. And so even if the serve and pass isn't 100% clicking, they're getting opportunities in transition.
Bryant, not just tournament MVP. When NC State was here at home, as Allen just missed it. They played Liberty here on the 11th of September, just over a week ago, and she had her first double-double of the year in that one. So she's really feasting home and away at this point, and stepping into a bigger role here in her junior season.
And you love seeing players that seize those opportunities.
Right. Growth from year to year as a coach, right? And you can see. There's the block of Kyrie Jones.
And we're seeing the recipe for success starting to take shape here for VCU. Can we serve tough, get the Wolfpack out of system, and follow it up with our block? Tight set.
Jones kept it up. Ranks another swing. And NC State loses the point. Kate Peterson in setting.
I'm sure Bryant would want that one back. That hit her in kind of that awkward upper chest area, you know, where you're not quite sure to get your platform with your hands. But again, credit VCU for staying aggressive throughout that rally. The setter-hitter connection has not been very good. It's been okay. And if that's something that really sharpens up as the match goes, then the Wolfpacks are going to have to play some really great defense to keep up.
Well, the Rams just took their first lead, and after NC State can't handle that serve, head coach Lucas LeBay going to call timeout. We'll take it with them. Rams lead by 2 here early.
This is the ACC, where greatness isn't just a goal.
NC State head coach Lucas LeBay, he has continued to level up this program. Last year, 5th in the ACC, 22 wins, thought they were going to make the tournament, didn't. No question what the goal is this year. they were a little bit disappointed going 1-2 in their opening weekend. That's their first road trip, right? The last one last weekend, much better, and starting to play the level of volleyball they know they can with so many returners back.
But sometimes that's a bigger challenge when you have success.
Right.
You have 22 wins in a season. There's some expectations. The bar is raised. Now can you follow it up? Now, especially for all the returners, can you take the lead in the offseason training and the workouts, hold each other accountable, and really expect that the team's going to gel and play at even a higher level next year? That's tough to do sometimes.
Especially you come off here with the 22 wins, one of them over Louisville here at home. That's 4 hits on the Rams. But playing with a little bit more of a target on your back, right? And teams like VCU or Coastal Carolina is also here this weekend. They're coming in thinking, hey, this is a chance for us to get a big win. And teams pay a little more attention to you coming off such a strong year.
And when you have that strong year and you have to back it up, you have to be ready. You said it very appropriately. A target on your back is big. You're not going to hide from anybody coming into this year. You're going to be circled on their schedule.
Coach Doyle pointing to his head after that point. Smart play, heads up play.
So far, Andrew, it looks like VCU is mentally locked in, that they want to come in here and get an upset. They got to stay aggressive, but what about that swing right there from Brizard? She's got anything to say about it. I think the Wolfpack will be victorious here. Awesome swing, the shoulder load, the quick feet. And that's something we saw all through last year. When she is healthy and in good rhythm, she is tough to defend. Both teams back to their starting rotations.
Well, like we're starting over here. 11-11, not anymore. On the overpass, it's Sophie Groom. With all the returners for NC State, Sophie Groom, one of the few newcomers. And the transfer from Stetson, that's about as easy as it gets. That's the one you dream about as a middle.
100%. You'll take overpass kills all day. High percentage.
And overpassed over the head of the middle. They go to Groom anyways. And
great read by Knight. Or Jones, rather.
Shot across and stuffed. They had an answer this time for Decora.
And Decora's going to have to switch up her shot. She was successful early, going to that high seam. And now look at the hands. Look at Rice reach in and take that away. Does Decora have more shots in her bag?
That's a new position for her. And Coach Doyle was so complimentary, saying, hey, she's played opposite her whole life and coming in here transitioning to the States, to college, to D1, and also she's in a new position. Here she is as OH1, but they, again, love her passion and talent. Groom with the swing, Jones.
Wow, the net presence is on point for both teams right now. Great adjustment there.
The angle from Amanda Rice.
Speaking of adjustments, how many different shots can you have as a pin hitter? And that's one of the strengths of Rice. She can hit line well. She's got the sharp cross, the high seam. She has all the shots you need to be effective, and we're starting to see those shots take shape.
Timeout, VCU. I think you saw in that replay. Look, fundamentally, like they're in the spots, but there's just nothing you can do about that shot.
Well, and now both teams have been around the rotation once. So now you're comparing what you're seeing live in set one so far to what you scouted. And is there anything different? Do we want to make any little adjustments right now, coming out of this timeout, other than what we've seen on the scouting report? And I think that's going to be something that we need to track is, do we see maybe a different play set? Do we see a shift in the rotational pattern just to maybe do something a little different offensively? And both teams right now are trying to get the right sides involved. Yeah. Rice is having a little more success right now, and the center-hitter connection for VCU on the right side has not been great. I think if that could get a little sharper now, the Rams have all of their offensive weapons clicking.
So a 4-0 run for NC State leads to a VCU timeout. It's a 3-match run in terms of wins. Again, 2 of them coming last Friday, Saturday down in Tampa. we told you earlier about the all-tournament team members, including the MVP, but hey, look, they hit 345 and limited the service reception errors. And I know you can serve tough without racking up the aces. Right. But if I tell you your team plays 2 matches and it's 24-3 in your favor, you're saying we're coming out of that 2-0.
100%. Yeah, you make a key point there. For the novice viewer, you know, we talk about service aces, service pressure. What does that look like? If you're getting the opponent, the receiving team, out of system, where the setter's on the move, she's running, she's not in full control, she can't really set the middle very much, that's not an option, then you're serving tough, and that doesn't necessarily always show up on the stat sheet.
Out of the timeout, they go to Rinks. And you were just talking, Coach, you said, hey, that can be improved, that connection. I have to think maybe that was the talk on that sideline, too, because that's more like what you were talking about.
Yeah, and it goes along to what you were saying about let's control the controllables. That was a focus for Coach Doyle and his team, and that was definitely one of the controllables. We can affect our set quality and our setter-hitter connection. What's been impressive so far here in set 1 has been the net presence of really both teams, Andrew, but particularly the left sides of VCU.
Dakora,
good cover.
How about that? And the jubilation.
You love the emotion after that play, and that's just what's so great about this sport. If you just keep working, you keep sacrificing the body to make a play, extend the rally, good things will happen.
Lara Dakora stepping into a big role as a freshman. Coach Doyle said she's, one of the most exciting players to watch over the course of what promises to be an illustrious career at VCU. Bright future, but a bright present also, as she's got the Rams to within a point.
NC State has targeted her in serve receive. We'll see if they go back at her. They tried.
Yeah, Katie Paez slid over to handle that serve.
It almost looks like, Andrew, that VCU is trying to bait NC State in that, when you look at Dakora lining up in serve receive, she's kind of taking a sliver of the court. She's not really in a straight lane. And so they're trying to get the Wolfpack to serve toward her, but then have Paez or someone else take that cheat step and cut in front and get that ball. So we see it here. Look at where 12 is lined up on the sideline. She's technically in the pattern, but a really tough target to hit.
So the adjustment there, they just basically served to where Paez was to the other side. Say, hey, if you want to be sliding over, we're going to wrong foot you.
There you go.
Get you leaning the opposite way. Nice high set for Dakora, but can't finish.
Got a little bit too far underneath that. Dropped her left shoulder a little early, and she knows it. She's kind of shaking her head, and
she just looks to Wano and say, "Hey, that's on me."
Yep. Great serve.
Kiyunzic able to keep it alive, but a rare misfire by Rinks, who has been their top player coming into this match.
Coach Doyle is seeing that the rhythm is starting to slip a little bit out of gear here for the Rams. And so, let's take a minute, let's take a breather, recalibrate, refocus. Rinks has had some opportunities so far in the match, Andrew, from that back row attack, that out-of-system roll out of right back. And she's been about 50% in terms of clean contacts. And I think that's another area where if we're out of system, we want to get you the ball. We want you to have a role in the offense in that way, but you got to be a little bit more consistent. And for the Wolfpack, I love what Cabello's trying to do, setting that lower tempo and transition to the left sides. They just haven't had a great setter-hitter connection yet. And I think maybe the ball, if it's a little bit higher, if the outside hitters go a little bit quicker, that could be a real weapon for NC State as the match plays out.
So second and final timeout of this first set used by VCU. Hey, look, it's a Friday night. It's a great venue here if you've never been to Reynolds Coliseum. One of the best venues in college athletics, and good Friday night crowd enjoying some high-level volleyball. And right now enjoying some Chapel Roan as well.
Yeah. Where else would you rather be on a gorgeous Friday night? Here in the Triangle.
Last time we saw the Rams take a timeout, they came out sharp and won a couple of points back-to-back and immediately went to Rinks. See if they do that again.
But in this rotation with a front row setter, that's going to be a little bit more challenging. I would not be surprised. Maybe we see a setter dump sneak in or a slide with Knight going behind. Something that we haven't seen yet in the match. And then in transition, watch out for Rice on the right side. I'm sure that was the talking point in the VCU huddle. Boy, Andrew called it.
Hey, every once in a while, every once in a while.
Have you thought about a future in coaching at all?
I don't know if there'll be a lot of success there. I think we'll stick to broadcasting, but
fair.
No, I like where your head was at, though, because, again, they do want to get Knight more involved. And I think, like we talked about earlier, maybe a better pass, that happens, right?
100%. And these two-hitter rotations, you have to establish some sort of middle. If you can get those 3 passes right to the setter, that holds the block honest and creates more seams for the pins. Boy, I really love how Rice is serving.
Was touched by NC State. A nice job by Yarashek to duck out of the way.
Little matrix move there.
There you go.
Boy, and sometimes as an outside hitter, the best thing you can do is get out of the way of a blocked ball that's coming right back at you. Not something that you necessarily practice a ton, but if you played left side for any amount of time, you understand those situations.
Peterson feeds Madison Williams.
That's really the first time in the match we've seen a left side hitter for the Wolfpack be aggressive going at the outside hands of Agano, the setter. She's a little bit of a smaller block. I think the left sides for NC State could have an advantage there.
First swing for Williams. A good one. Aguano goes over on 2. There was Bryant. Brazard. And so back-to-back points, NC State from that left side scores.
And a heads-up play from Brazard. Sometimes when you have a good tempo set, good rhythm as an outside hitter, you want to put the ball down, but she goes for that deeper perimeter shot because she's recognizing that the defense for VCU is a little bit shallow in the court. Great coverage from the Rams.
Williams put it in a good area. Kind of off balance there, and in the end, NC State will take it. 5-point advantage, largest lead of the first set.
Wait, Kuyundich is just an awesome athlete in the libero jersey for the Rams. You see the range and the quickness she's playing with. She's someone that can really keep her team in it with her prowess in the backcourt, and just her movement, communication, so impressive so far.
Well, Aguano soloed up in the middle with Allen. I've been impressed by that. You're talking about, hey, her block a little bit smaller, but she was up to the task there.
But if you have a smaller blocker, usually that's a setter playing in a 5-1. If you have that on your team, you don't need them to be stellar blockers. You just need them to be solid. You know, don't get tooled too often. Just line up well, let the defense play, and make good reads behind you.
In the middle.
But and so far in the match, VCU's service pressure started off hot, and now it's cooling a little bit. I think they need to step up their service pressure, a little more pace in the ball, or target certain individuals better on the NC State side, because so far NC State is passing really well the last 5 or 6 points.
Allen after the kill. She had 7, by the way, on Saturday against the Bulls. Goes back to serve, and she'll continue serving on set point.
Sure, VCU is going to take inventory after this set of where things started to slip away. If you recall back, it was about 15 all, and that's when NC State started to pull away, and it's just been more consistent play from the Wolfpack in that stretch.
Certainly some positive signs for the Rams in this first set, but NC State able to close in impressive fashion. They will take it 25-18. Katie Paez, sophomore from Las Vegas. All the effort of Sky Stokes, but that serve leading to the point.
So many impressive things happened in just that short rally. Great serve from Paez, and even better pass from Stokes. One-on-one blocking opportunity to stuff block to give Rams the 1-0 lead here.
Boy, Brizard was cleared for takeoff on that approach, but it might have been a triple block there, was it not? The Rams were ready.
Well, and it's a double-edged sword when you're an ultra-aggressive player because you want to be emphatic with what you do. I think Brizard needs to take a little bit off in that situation, change up her shot a little bit, and just get into a rhythm because right now the block is on her. There it is. There's the changeup. And look, sometimes it scores just like it did there. One of the most valuable things outside hitters can learn is, you don't have to bang the ball hard every time. And really good disguise there, dropping the shoulder the last second. When you're facing a really aggressive blocking team, mixing in those short tips and rolls can sometimes bear good fruit. Good serve.
Cabello goes to Rice. Wow. Caught Iguano. Thankfully, she's all right. A smile after she absorbs.
Boy, that was almost a headshot from Rice. Boy, that was a point-blank missile, and sometimes all you can do is just get your head out of the way, maybe off the shoulder. None the worse for wear.
Daniels. Boy, she sets up Rice.
Boy, and we talk about consistency, building that in the preseason, Andrew, and Rice has already proven as a senior that she's consistent no matter what time of year it is, and she can manufacture points and make things happen when she's 5-6 feet off the net, when she's out of system, when she gets not necessarily a great set. She's so impressive in making those little adjustments and still being successful.
Kalina Plinska delivers it to Stokes, and there's Groom.
Another bruise for the shoulder of Agano, but credit the passing of NC State, which for the last 10 points of the first set and here so far to begin the second, the passing has been on point for the Wolfpack, and it's allowed them to really unleash all their options offensively, and we're seeing it.
NC State just thumping the ball here early in set number 2. Iguano shoots it across to Decora, who will score.
And you love to see the freshmen making those adjustments during a rally. Can we see multiple shots when you have multiple opportunities? That is when you start playing at a higher level as a pin attacker. And I have to think, Andrew, that during the break, Coach Slabe really probably lit a fire at his team that, hey, we won that set, but it's probably a little closer than it needed to be. We're seeing a little more swagger from the Wolfpack here in set 2.
Amanda Rice leads all attackers now with 5 kills.
Such a tough tempo to block. You have to be one-on-one, and then you're kind of reading the shoulder and doing the best you can to put some hands up.
VCU in a scramble off another Rice serve. You said midway through that first set you were really impressed with how she's serving. What is she doing that's making her effective?
Anytime you have a jump serve, particularly a jump float, it's all about a great rhythm. You need a good toss, you need a good step close, and a good contact. And everything is just locking in right now for her. All three of aspects of her serve are just clicking right now. Boy, and we talk about the swagger of NC State here to start set 2, and it's kind of been the opposite for VCU. The last couple of points, communication has been a little hesitant. There's just been a little bit of a slower approach to each contact.
3-0 run for NC State. Rice continues to serve to Paez. It was tight. Brian, I think, trying to pick out the high hands.
Cabello's shaking her head on that, Andrew. She knows that she underset that ball a little bit, a little tight. She didn't give her hitter a great opportunity to get a good contact, and she knows that that's a little bit more on her.
VCU going to make a late sub here. Paez will come out, and Yarashek replaces.
VCU is still in a 2-hitter rotation with a front row setter. What can they run in transition that maybe we haven't seen yet offensively?
So Peterson was back row there, didn't want to risk going for it. And on the overpass, Rams cut it to 1.
Boy, Knight kind of made up for not going up on that overpass. She stayed down and was able to get the transition swing for a kill.
I think the Peterson surprise and mine as well. Peterson and Allen.
Boy, when you're passing like this and you're that locked in, it just opens up all of the options offensively, and it's truly putting the defense on their heels for VCU. You know, if you're the Rams, can you mix in some short serves or maybe mix up some alley serves along the sideline? Just something different so that NC State isn't so locked in serve receive.
Well, in playing the 6-2, NC State likes to have the 3 attacking options. And I always like to ask coaches, even though their focus is their team, right? But, hey, what are your concerns in your opponent? Coach Doyle was just very complimentary of NC State. He said, you know, their middles and their opposites are so good, so we have to keep on track of that. And then because they're so good, it makes the outside's job easier, and it's a lot for them to think about right now defensively.
It is, and as we watch just another good blocking move from VCU, the left sides for VCU are putting on a blocking clinic tonight. You know, you want to have your right sides going, and so far Rice is holding her own for sure, but if I'm NC State, I might spend the next 5 or 10 points trying to force a little middle, or maybe bringing the left sides inside a little bit on an inside route, just something to keep those left front blockers away from my hit tacklers.
You saw that pop off the bug there, 6-2 blocks in favor of the Rams.
But to get back to your question, Andrew, anytime I coached a team and we were going against an opponent that ran a 6-2 and had good right side attackers, chore number 1 was make the back row setter play the ball as much as you can.
Okay.
That helps us if the right sides do get set because they're featured in the offense. It's an out of system where we can have a good double block against them, maybe slow them down a little bit. So, you know, in these situations, especially if the lead starts to get a little more lopsided in favor of NC State, I would expect the Rams to make the backcourt setters and right back play more balls.
Timeout VCU as NC State's open up a 3-point advantage. It'll be our media break. Back here in the city of Oaks, Corey Carlin, my name is Andrew Sanders. At the media break, NC State 11-8. Wolfpack on a 3-0 run leading to the timeout. And a change in setter for Coach Doyle coming out of the break as Aguano is out and freshman Johnson Shandish is in to set. Freshman from Istanbul.
A lot of young players getting valuable minutes right here for VCU. Wow. Just like you drew it up, a very inopportune time for VCU for that net clipper ace to hit. But if you're NC State, it's a perfect time to continue this momentum.
Out of system set. NC State looking to capitalize. It's Groom.
And I love that play set in transition because, again, the left front blockers for VCU have been pretty on point tonight. So let's run a one at the setter. Let's maybe get that left front blocker cheating in a little bit. Maybe that'll open up some line shots for our right sides. I mean, it's all those little cat and mouse games that are being played right here. And both teams have seen enough sample size in this match to identify trends and where can we make our adjustments and how can we score right now in this rotation in this matchup.
So the freshman setter, Shandish, has 31 assists on the season. She has been the third most used setter to this point, but again, just searching for that consistency. They felt like coming into this weekend, the senior Iguano is just giving them a little bit of more reliability and consistency, but down a set and down here at the timeout. We'll see what the freshman from Turkey can provide. She played at a high level in Turkey, won 3 Turkish championships, the U15 and the U19 levels, but still making that transition, right, to Division I.
It is a different game. There's some great aspects to international play, but it is different. It's a different style when you come over here to Division I collegiate volleyball when you played from overseas. It's much faster in many respects, particularly the tempo of sets that you're asked to deliver. That's one aspect that a lot of foreign setters might have a challenge initially because they don't really set very quick balls at the international level.
Back to Rice, the lead back to 5.
Well, what a great set, just reversing the flow, isolating the one-on-one, and if you've got Rice one-on-one, I think if you're Coach Slave, you're gonna take that all day.
NC State right now siding out 62.1%. That is right on schedule for them. Their goal as a team is 62%, and that is kind of an odd, it's not an odd number, it's an even number, right? But it seems like a strange number, right? How do you land on 62%? Not 60, not 65, but 62%. And they actually looked at the last couple of years of stats in the ACC, and hey, what are the top 4 teams in the league, right? They finished 5th last year. We want to be top 4, not top 5. What do we need to side out at it? The answer is 62%. That's the goal, and they're hitting that mark so far, and that, and along with some other things, leading to some good success here.
Well, we're in an era now, Andrew, that every sport has so many metrics and, you know, so we call it kind of, you know, higher geek language, if you will, but it just, you know, there's numbers for everything, and a lot of it is useful. A lot of it can help your team if you digest it correctly. And I was always a coach. I didn't want to focus too much on the numbers because it can weigh you down mentally. Oh, we're not making our number. Oh, we're at 61%. We got to make this big change to get to 62. No, just stay aggressive.
Yeah. Communicate
well. Let's get out and get after it.
Look, you're telling me, I mean, I work a lot in baseball, okay? So the numbers are there. You know, in volleyball, we're not worried about spin rate. We got rid of the double contact, right?
Right, exactly.
Hey, we're talking about the adjustment and just in general, VCU doing a tremendous job recruiting international talent. 8 players, more than half the roster, right? And we have seen a number of these players so far tonight. Unfortunately, Leticia Gali is unavailable tonight, but other than she and Portillo, all very impactful players on this team and all a part of, again, getting this team to gel and come together. And Coach Doyle saying that they're so coachable. They have fun going into him. I mean, he was really, you could tell how happy he is to have this group. But the word he used was volatile. He said, you know, it's still been a little bit volatile. I knew it was going to be a challenge as a coach when you have, this is the second largest recruiting class that he has ever had. And so when you're bringing so many new players in, you only have a few weeks to ramp it up before the lights are on and the popcorn's popping.
Yeah, and the main point and the takeaway there is not just so many new players, but players from different countries, different cultures, different languages. So, you know, how can we meld that pot together and get on the same page, trust each other, hold each other accountable to play at a high level, all those things that come into great team chemistry when you're coming from such varied backgrounds. I think that's a challenge, but boy, when it comes together and when it clicks, it can be very special.
They go to Rinks again out of the timeout. Second opportunity. Rice terminates.
Yeah, if you give her multiple swings in a rally, it's probably going to favor number 17 when the dust settles and the play's over. But, you know, VCU, they're scrapping. They're trying to extend rallies. They just need a little bit better contact, a little bit better ball control.
NC State has stepped its game up here in set number 2. That will end the run. It was a 5-0 run.
You're seeing flashes from the Rams, individual players here and there doing some really great things. And so at this point in the match, you're trying to build just a little momentum. You might not come back and win this set. That's a little bit of a tall mountain right now, but can we string together some mini runs? Can we get 3 or 4 points strung together? Not a great connection there.
Nice job in the back row by Polinska. Broom solo blocked by Jasmine Knight.
And if I'm Coach Doyle, I want to have a conversation with Decora, the freshman, because she had a couple of opportunities there where she was not in a great rhythm. She had to go off speed, but let's not go to left back and make it an easy down ball play in transition for the Wolfpack. Let's go at Cabello. Let's go at the right back and make the setter play. If you can't get a full swing, I think that's a better option in that situation.
Boy, when this NC State offense is clicking, it is fun to watch.
Right now, the best defense for Rice is having her in the back row, I think.
The tip will work for the junior college transfer, Julia Rinks. Couple years at Daytona State College, and she has stepped into really the top attacking role for VCU so far this season, and that continues here. Give her 6 kills, a team best to this point.
Nice serve.
Free ball.
Trying a little international pursuit rule, which, you know, why not give it a go? But
make them call it.
Yeah, for sure. Make them call it. You're seeing moments and situations that are really good for growth, particularly for young players. If you're out of system, you're set 5 or 6 feet off the net, can you work to get your feet behind it and not give your opponent a free ball? That is one area of focus most coaches have with their attackers. Let's limit free balls as much as possible. Even if it's a down ball or an overhead swing from the floor, that's better than giving the opponent a free ball. So far, the only kind of small crack in the armor of NC State's defense has been a well-disguised tip or roll to the middle of the court or right over the block. They've not done a very good job of collecting those so far. If I'm VCU, someone on that coaching staff or on that bench is probably taking note and saying, hey, let's mix in a few more tips and rolls, make NC State defend the front third of the court, and see if that bears a little fruit.
Lily Cropper has subbed in. Junior middle blocker.
And, you know, Andrew, she started the final 5 matches of the fall last year, so no stranger to the starting lineup.
Yeah, and that run in the last 5 gave her a ton of confidence. And she has brought that confidence now into her junior season. And they love her. Amanda Rice was telling me, I'm so proud of how Lily Cropper has just improved so much, and the coaching staff as well. They don't have a lot of middle depth, but the middles that they have, again with Allen and Groom and Cropper, that trio, Coach Slabay was saying, you know, I am hesitant to just. He doesn't have as much depth. You know, normally you might have 4 or 5. So he's like, we have to stay healthy at that position. But really couldn't say enough about all 3 of his middles. And so Cropper get an opportunity here.
And she's one of those players that her teammates root for. You know, you can see it. And when she has success, a positive block touch, a deny, or a kill, the whole team gets up, right? And that's what makes these team sports so special, is when you see teammates rooting for each other, pulling together. Oh, boy, Broussard really wants a touch. See if we get a challenge here.
Well, the line judge did have a touch. Now, again, it's the R1's call, but they are going to challenge here. But, yeah, this is just the 3rd set that Cropper has gotten in so far this season. But, again, that says more about, you know, the veteran play of Allen and Groom than it does about Cropper. So we'll have our first review. And see, now this is always tough to see, but if it was there, our crew is going to do their best to show it. And oh yeah,
oh, pretty obvious.
That is
great look, guys. Great look.
Nice slow-mo.
Yeah,
nice job by the tape room as well. And so sometimes as a coach, you challenge that, and you're just hoping, hey, did the cameras pick it up? Yeah, we got it.
Yeah, and with your whole team comes in to a huddle or looks at the coach on the bench and says, there was a touch, you know, then you pretty much have to get that card out and trust your team. You know, if there's a little hesitation, maybe it's kind of a bang-bang play, or maybe a micro touch you're not as sure about, maybe a little hesitation, but. And sometimes, Andrew, coaches will use that as kind of a pseudo timeout. Right. Not necessarily that they think they're going to get the call reversed or not, but hey, maybe we need a momentum break, and why not challenge?
Yeah. Chanel Davis, the R1 tonight. Rob Boggs, the R2. That first review, it is reversed.
Jones really needs to change up her shot in the middle.
Well, even right there, Peterson had to play the first ball. NC State out of system, but still clicking.
And VCU is being a little bit predictable in their shot selection, particularly out of the middle. I think they need to change that up a little bit if they want to have success. NC State all over the middles defensively. Wow, what a shot from the freshman.
And it was Cropper who dug it out. A block to seal it. Set number 2.
Talk about 2 of the premier conferences for women's volleyball in the country, the ACC and the Big Ten, squaring off this weekend. Boy, if you're a volleyball fan, there's some pretty cool watching going on this weekend. A rare service error tonight from the Wolfpack. There's a short serve. We wondering when they were going to mix that in. And you got to follow it up with good transition offense.
Again, the shot variation from Broussard. Rice with her 9th kill to lead all attackers.
And Shondish is upset with herself. I think she had a good read on that. She really saw it from hand contact to floor. She seemed to be a little more aggressive making that move. Can VCU pass a little better this set? Good start there. And we see what they're capable of, Andrew. When we get that 3 pass up to the setter, when the middles are involved, and again, they want to get Knight going. She leads them in kills per set out of the middle, and she adds some balance to their offense.
Balance to the offense and great veteran leadership. She calls for it here. She'll set it.
You made a great point earlier. Not the prettiest of sets, but if you're joining the broadcast, haven't watched a ton of volleyball so far this fall, you might think, what the heck, where's the double call? And that is a rule change here in 2024, that if you set the ball to a teammate, but it would otherwise be known as a double contact, they're going to let that go because there's no advantage in that situation. And as a former coach, I really think that's needed in the game today.
Okay.
We were the only sport that were rewarding points on the scoreboard to an opponent for how you handled the ball. No other sport did that. And so, you know, traditionalists might say, oh my gosh, you know, what are you doing? We're going to have sloppy setting all the time. And no, you're not. You're still going to train your setters. You still want good setter-hitter connection. It's just not going to stop play as often as it did.
Yeah, I have heard some of that, the more traditionalist take, and I like the way that you said that there, which is that we're awarding points and you don't gain an advantage from it.
Correct.
And I think that is certainly key to note. It is a gray area, right? And having refereed volleyball, not at this level, right? Tremendous respect for what they do. But having refereed volleyball before, I will say that no matter what level you're doing, whether it's D1, where obviously the hands are really good, okay? Right. Or if you're doing, you know, middle school, JV, varsity, whatever, high school, it is a judgment call. It's a gray area, and it is tough because you want to be consistent. But I do think it makes what is a very tough job just a little bit easier. Of, hey, we don't have to now focus on the ball handling.
That's a great point, because it was one of the few areas in our game when you think about officiating volleyball and what you're watching as play is continuing. It was one of the few areas that was very subjective.
Yes.
Right? And you needed to be consistent as an official. Coaches were looking for consistency. Hey, you're either going to call it very loose or very tight, but we want you to be consistent. And now you're kind of taking that need off the table because we're just letting that aspect of the game go. Now, it is important to point out to fans, just to be clear, that you cannot double contact the ball and send it to the opponent.
Yeah, that could be gaining it.
Correct. So if the ball comes out of your hands, you know, ugly, if you will, with a lot of spin, if it's going to the opponent, they will still call that an illegal contact.
Yeah, and I'm glad you noted that as Allen just misses. To me, it's not all that different. They have a beautiful video board here at Reynolds Coliseum, and there's a fascia that goes around the bottom of that video board. There's a good look at it, right? To me, it's not all that different where if I'm trying to dig out a ball and it's got a lot of heat on it and I hit it to the video board, well, yeah, if it hits that and goes over the other side of that, that's out, right?
Correct.
We can't be playing weird, funny bounces off of that. That could obviously gain me an advantage for not
turns into racquetball all of a sudden.
Yeah,
right,
exactly. Great sport, but not what we're playing here.
Right.
On the other side of that, though, if it's on my side of the net, that's always been called, hey, play on. As long as you have more hits allowed, because I think same principle, not gaining an advantage.
Yeah, that's exactly right. It's when the discussion first surfaced about 5-6 years ago, it was a pretty healthy debate back and forth. And, you know, you heard both sides of the aisle just say, hey, is this really, do we want to make this change? Because it is a pretty significant change to the game. And with the speed of the game, the advent of all of the different angles and review now, and just the sophistication of our game, I think it's a good change.
Well, again, we've been talking just in that intermission about the Rams, and they have started all of these sets very nicely. That has continued here in the third.
Here early, it's been a side-out battle. Both teams doing some good things. Both teams taking care of opportunities, which is what you want to see to play at a high level. You will get free balls, tips, rolls, the other team out of system at times during a match. And so the teams that take care of those opportunities, that can convert those to points, usually play at a high level and are the more consistent. Here's another opportunity here.
Out the touch, Brizard earns the point.
And I love that swing from Brizard. We mentioned earlier that she has an attacking mindset. She wants to be emphatic with what she does. And there are some opportunities or some scenarios as an outside hitter where you need to take a little bit off. You need to go for those high hands and attack smartly. And if you do that often enough, it results in scoring points, which it did there. VCU's got to be careful here, Andrew. This is kind of 2 plays back-to-back where great shot from Brizard. You got to tip your hat to that, but we can't give up an ace and serve receive to back that up. Now the Wolfpack on a 3-point run.
Megan Toohey has joined the back row for VCU. That's where Allen serves it. And we'll see where she goes here. Toohey, freshman from Pennsylvania. And getting some discussion in with Kuyuzic right now about serve receive.
NC State has been stellar attacking to the left back sideline of VCU. That had to be something. There's another one. That had to be something they saw in the scouting report coming in, because they've hit that zone a ton tonight and it's bore good fruit.
Shandish goes near side.
Great
and
play,
Bryant out of the back.
Wow.
Left-handed attack. Jones makes it work.
Sometimes when you're middle, you don't get great connections, but it still works. And the reach from Jones, going with the lefty, directing it down in the right spot. But that's a great heads-up play by Jones. If you can't get a great connection, a great contact as an attacker, make those right back setters for NC State play the ball.
Jones's 4th kill of the night. She entered this season. On the year, she had 4 kills, so she's having a great night. And how about this?
And VCU desperately needed a little momentum shift, because you started to feel maybe NC State was going to pull away like they've done in the first 2 sets. But VCU capitalizing on a few opportunities, and now they're up again. And as soon as you say it, boy, Groom has been quietly impressive tonight. You know, she hasn't had a ton of opportunities, but I think every time she's gotten set, she's made good things happen.
Groom, who's from Orlando, got to take a trip home last weekend to her home state, and they swept North Florida. Her older brother Tommy's a pitcher there on the baseball team.
Well, very athletic family. You know, Groom herself was a tremendous athlete. She also ran track in high school, so she's very quick with her feet. We're seeing that dynamicism play out here.
Yeah, long jump, high jump, and then the 300-meter hurdles, which is just a nightmare event. So all credit to Groom for running 300-meter hurdles.
My back hurts just thinking about that.
She said she really liked the 400, not hurdles, just the 400 meters in middle school, and she even kind of joked, yeah, who does that? You know, right. Who enjoys it? That's a tough race, the 400 meters, but they had a spot open for 300-meter hurdles, and they said, hey, if you like running 400, how about 300, but with hurdles?
Wow.
And it was even tougher, she said, but she enjoyed it.
Such a different mindset to do those events. It's, you know, you think about pole vaulters, high divers, you know, there's certain athletes in certain sports and positions that, boy, you just applaud the mindset, because you got to be a little different. Boy, these are those opportunities here for NC State that the longer the rally goes, they're just taking care of business. And a lot of it's that shot selection, seeing the hands, tooling a block like Brizard did there. And VCU just has to work so hard to manufacture points at this stage of sets. And I think this is a good challenge from Coach Doyle. It's, you know, kind of that pseudo timeout, because, again, this is the place in sets where NC State has started to pull away, and you don't want to repeat right here in set 3.
So Mr. Bob is going to put the headset back on. And momentarily here we will have, right now, we will have the exact look that he is looking at. So NC State in the net here?
I think there's a couple of things, you know, that you're looking at. One, you know, in live speed, you wonder, did the ball hit the antenna off of the blocker's hands before it went down. That does not look to be the case.
I don't think so.
Did Rice maybe get the net is bouncing there.
Did they both possibly contact the ball right then?
That could be a possibility, but
So,
you know, it's sometimes you don't always get great looks at, you know, the play.
Yeah.
But it looked like through that series, and great job from our guys in the production crew, that, you know, there wasn't an obvious touch in the net, which may be what Coach Doyle was hoping for to shift a little momentum here. Instead, the point will stay with the Wolfpack. Great pass. A better read from the blockers. Boy, you're at a point now where you haven't been able to run a lot of middle offense, and if you're VCU, and NC State knows that. So when you do get a perfect pass, they're anticipating that set to the middle, almost commit blocking. Great roof there. Wow, what a rocket serve.
And here comes the Wolfpack. They are the first to 15. Media timeouts. NC State up 2 sets, and the first to 15. BC, it's a top 5 matchup, Nebraska and Louisville. At the KFC Yum Center, it's the first time ever, I'm told, a regular season college volleyball match is on ABC.
Wow.
Game is growing.
It's amazing. You think about the outdoor match at Nebraska and just what that meant to exposure, and it's an exciting game, and there's so many new viewers that are catching on. It's a really great time right now in the sport of women's volleyball.
Over 2,600 matches on ESPN platforms this season.
That's outstanding.
Which is the most programming that they have ever had. Stokes swings it over.
And plays like this are why it's so exciting to tune in.
Now Stokes sets. Rice!
Who else? Boy.
Well, you're watching one of the 2,600, or you come to a match in person, you're going to be entertained.
Oh my gosh, just the athleticism, the dynamic athletes that are playing this sport today, the extension of the rallies, and then can I quib the term instant rice here at the end to just put that ball away? It's, man, you can almost, the longer the rally goes, if I'm a left front blocker, I'm not losing sight of her in hopes of maybe trying to slow her down. She's so impressive.
Parker Hartzell with the swing there, making her season debut. We knew she was available. Didn't know if she would get in, but she just got her first kill of the season. Congratulations and welcome back, Parker Hartzell, the senior from Alexandria, Virginia. Look, she averaged better than 2.5 kills per set a season ago. Went double-digit kills 16 times last year. And so for a VCU team that, again, has so many new players, to be able to get one of the veterans back, that is huge, and great to see her tonight.
But great to see her take advantage of that small opportunity right there. You know, if VCU keeps this point, she's going to be subbing right back out. But, you know, as this play went on, I wondered if Hartzell was maybe in the net, and that was the early indication. As soon as the R2 motion that there was a challenge, the call that he signaled of what's being challenged is that VCU was in the net. I didn't really see a clear net contact right there. Yeah.
Maybe at some point earlier in the point. But at least from what we saw, right, clear cut, right? Swing, and then off of the block, it hits the antenna.
That looked pretty clear to me, and you know, she's so far off the net. I mean, the only thing you might think is, did she contact the net earlier in the rally? for the R2 to signal that this was a net call challenge, but in that, yeah, I'm puzzled here, Andrew. I'm not really sure, unless it happened way earlier, which even then, this wasn't a very long rally, so I don't know if there was another opportunity.
So this same look is exactly what R2 Rambanks is looking at.
Yeah, and this, to be fair, from the coach's perspective, if I'm on the Wolfpack sideline, maybe you think Hartzell was closer to the net than she actually was. The net was bouncing a bit, and it may just be hey, we're up 2-0. VCU is getting a little momentum. Let's maybe try to slow it down a little bit.
Call's going to stand. So it is the first kill.
Boy, and coaching staff.
I'm trying the lip read here.
Yeah.
And talking about 3 blockers.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure what the argument
Are they maybe
here.
saying? Are they maybe saying they think Hartzell was back row?
When we went further into the point, was there? Not. Right there, the assistant coach
that's earlier in the point. I think that's where NC State was saying that's where they wanted to see the net was, not on the Hartzell swing.
Yeah, that makes a lot more sense. Even on that angle that we saw, it's very difficult to see the net moving when you're in a vertical looking down on the net.
I'm trying to piece it together, but I think what happened is that no, on the attack, it wasn't in the net, and that's why you saw the NC State coaching staff say, no, that's not where we thought the net violation was.
Right, and even backing up the play earlier.
Yeah, they're saying when there was 3 blockers, that was when they thought that there might be. So they are going to say, okay, well, let's make sure we look at it.
I did not see anything in the angles that we saw, Andrew, to make me believe there was indisputable evidence of a contact with the net. If anything, maybe the hair of Knight, the ponytail, kind of, which is incidental.
That's legal.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. If you watch the transition here, you see the ponytail kind of whip the net, which could cause the net to shimmy a bit, but again, that is legal. That's incidental contact. I don't see anything clear as far as a body part contacting the net, so I don't see enough to overturn, do you?
Call is confirmed.
Call confirms.
Yeah. And I believe that's the correct call.
Yeah, that is the one body part, if you will, that can contact the net. Loose hair.
Loose uniforms. Once in a while, now the uniforms are not as loose as they used to be several years ago, but if your shirt tail contacts it, that's still incidental as well.
So, after 2 reviews, yes, Parker Hartzell with her first kill of the 2024 season. Great to see it. And so she gets into this match, and keep in mind both these teams, Coastal Carolina is in town, and both of these teams will play the Chanticleers. VCU will play them tomorrow at 3 o'clock. NC State on Sunday at 1. And that'll be right here on the ACC Network Extra. So what that works out is, you say sometimes the challenge is like a timeout. That one, a little bit of a longer one. And NC State trying to keep that momentum following the break.
Well, Decor has to make an adjustment on Rice at this point. She's giving her way too much line. And even on that last play, Rice hit around her cross court. So, I think Decor really needs to recognize as a blocker. Now she's going to the back court, but the left sides for VCU, which started off the match so strong, they need to make an adjustment on 17 in red.
What a great swing there by Jasmine Knight. Their vocal leader, their emotional leader, but 17 in red at it again.
Yeah, and if we extend this set where both teams rotate around where Rice is in the front row again before the set's over, I think VCU needs to almost commit block on her out of system because she's just scoring at will at this point.
Amanda Rice, the nickname is Big Red, and she's having a big match. Now 12 kills for Rice, and she's hitting almost 400.
And I love that set from Shondish, forcing the middle a little bit to Knight. It wasn't a great connection, but Knight with the heads-up play. Sometimes the paintbrush kill scores more than a full swing, and you know that middle of kind of we call it the campfire zone of the defense of NC State is a little bit susceptible if you disguise it well.
Taylor Aguano is back in.
Yeah, boy, put yourself in the shoes of Jones, the middle blocker for VCU. She anticipated that play. She shaded that way. She just got to drop those hands and take away a little bit more court, because when it's such a good set and they're in rhythm, it's about big hands pressing and sealing quickly and not being as vertical. You don't have to be very high when you're blocking the middle. You just have to get over and get in that middle space. Very interested to see what the play set's going to be out of the serve receive here. You got to think they're going to try to split the block here, maybe throw a quicker tempo outside to Yarashek. There it is, quicker tempo, but the block is there.
The block is there. Allen and Williams.
And VCU just hasn't established enough middle in these two-hitter rotations to make that lower tempo set work and create any kind of seam. You know, maybe can we run Jones behind and split the block? Maybe run the slide. Here she goes. There it is.
The first time we've seen that tonight,
yeah,
right? And to great success.
I applaud that, Andrew. I think at this point in the match, you just want to do something a little bit different. Are there some wrinkles, some different looks we can throw your way? Because we have to do something different if we want to spark a run.
Doesn't hurt. Doesn't hurt to try something different. Maybe they handle it. Maybe they don't.
Correct. Nice serve. Got to defend this out of system swing. Boy, Yarashek wants that swing back. Those are the opportunities that you want to be a little bit cleaner on, especially in a match like this. You want to grow in the preseason. When you're way out of system, you might not score, Andrew, but you don't want to have a bad error. Wow. Almost hitting the scoreboard like you alluded to earlier.
Yeah, we talked about it. Almost brushed it. Another opportunity for Jones.
Got to get a good swing here. Ah, you hate to see that free ball.
You said that earlier. I've heard that from other coaches too. They'll coach, look, it doesn't matter if it's a half swing, if it's just a little roll, just do the best you can do, but anything but the free ball unless you can't help it.
And in that situation, with where we are in the match, with just the strength of the offense of the Wolfpack, you want to limit any free ball opportunities you give them because they're so hard to defend. You're putting a lot of pressure back on yourself. So that last play there, it was a high set, about 8-10 feet off the net, which is not ideal. But even in that situation, you can work to get your body behind the ball, maybe two-hand push it to the back row setter, make her play. It doesn't have to be flashy, but make her play that first ball, and at least you take their transition middle off the table. I think there's some smarter ways that you can approach those situations when you're out of system, you know, to that degree. And with this young team, with some of these, you know, younger players, that's something that the coaching staff is looking for. I'm sure they'll go back and watch film of some of these moments when the score maybe started to slip away and say, hey, let's think about situational volleyball and how can we be a little bit better in these situations.
On Tuesday, the Nothing But Net crew will look at every ACC school's upcoming basketball schedule. The seasons tip off Monday, November 4th. breaking down women's basketball schedules, 7 to 8 Eastern. Men's basketball starting at 8, ending at 9 Eastern. Right here, ACC Network and the ESPN app. Cannot wait for that schedule release. Hey, the ACC, bigger and better than ever with the additions of Stanford and Cal and SMU. Reynolds Coliseum, the former home of NC State men's basketball.
Yep.
A lot of great history here in the old barn, as it was affectionately called. Now, an incredible renovation in 2016 has made it again one of the best venues in college athletics. It is the current home of NC State women's basketball. Both programs coming off a Final Four last year. Hartzell with a big swing. No touch. Point NC State.
And you love the aggressiveness. You look at the score, you think, let's not be timid here. Let's stay assertive. And she had the right idea. Let's go high hands line. We haven't seen a ton of that shot selection from VCU. Just didn't quite execute. Would love to see a combination play here. Oh, let him off the hook with an error. But VCU has been passing well enough in the last 5 or 6, attempts that can we, in these 3-hitter rotations now, can we run some combination plays, maybe move our pin hitters inside or run the slide again, a slide 2 combo, just something different to try to get a little bit momentum here. Great dig.
That's one that would have been called a double back last year, not anymore.
Boy, you love the effort from the Rams right here. And the paintbrush ends it.
And again, this is a VCU team. I know they're 1-5 so far, but with 17 wins a year ago, they're picked 3rd in the A10. This is a good team. It's just a matter of how long is it going to take for them to really reach their full potential. The potential is high.
And that's a key point. It's bringing all these new pieces together and seeing execution. Wow,
Still
look at
up,
that.
Corey.
Look at that.
They'll take the point.
Well, if I'm Coach LePay, I might think about a timeout here just because VCU is starting to make it interesting. I mean,
They're still having fun. They're playing with passion.
Good things happen when you just give maximum effort. Wow, what a great read. Cover the hitters here. Boy, did you see that shot selection, Andrew? 3 shots in a row. Hartzell went with the off speed. She knows that has been an Achilles heel for NC State.
She watched the first couple sets. You were talking about that.
And it finally scores on the 3rd attempt, but that was an obvious decision by Hartzell to go to that shot 3 times in a row, and it ultimately scored. And here's that timeout that we forecasted for NC State, and you can just see Coach LeBay lighting a fire. Guys, we got to put this away. We have given up about a 6-point run to the Rams, and all they've been doing is just giving a little more effort, right? I wouldn't categorize the play as super clean or very demonstrative from VCU over the last couple of plays, but just been giving great effort and playing with great grit, right? Kind of being scrappy. And if you're Coach Doyle, you love to see that from your team. Regardless of how this set ends, you want to finish playing well.
Yeah. Next Thursday, ACC women's soccer match featuring number 3 Florida State. They're the defending champs, won 5-1 over Stanford last year in the Natty. Squaring off against Clemson. It's at the Seminole Soccer Complex in Tallahassee. The Noles have won the last 8 in a row against the Tigers, dating back to 2019. Coverage begins at 7 Eastern on ACC Network and the ESPN app.
How impressive is a 5-1 score in soccer? To correlate that to volleyball, that's almost like a 25-2 or 5 maybe. You start getting above 2 or 3 goals in soccer, you're laying the wood on somebody.
Peterson and Cropper combined to give NC State match points.
And I love that play call coming out of the timeout. VCU has had their hands full with the middles from NC State all night, and why not set that when you get the opportunity, give us a match point.
Fans on their feet, and also with that point, it also rotates Rice into the front row. On set point, it's Hartzell. Brizard with a tip to win it.
A taste of your own medicine to put this one away.
Making 4 straight wins for Coach LeBay and the Wolfpack in their second home match of the season. They sweep VCU.